Okay, so I got some juicy gossip today for you guys. Now, sometimes I'm kind of apprehensive regarding certain types of gossip or whatever, but this gossip in particular is involving the creator of One Piece, or One Piece in general, not really the creator too much, and the creator of a legendary series. If you haven't heard of it, it is easily one of my favorite, all-time favorite, funny anime of all time, Golden Boy. He made the manga of that, and he's done a couple other different things, and he was throwing some shade at One Piece, which at the surface is kind of like a little bit like, okay, it's not that bad, but upon reading it a couple times, I was thinking to myself, like, again, you got to think, in Japan, to say anything that is even remotely negative towards something else is a rarity. They don't do that because they have the utmost respect. Everything is like, yes, it's amazing. It makes me come 10 times when I read it. So for them to actually go the extra mile about anything, to say it in any type of negative light, it's a problem. I mean, a lot of these sites, even like their YouTube channels, they disable the ratings because they don't want any dislikes on any of their commercials and stuff like that. That's how serious they are with wanting positivity. So again, for any other creator to talk about another creator's work and anything that is in a positive light is a big deal over there. So that's why I'm kind of like, okay, I understand why this is kind of like some shade to be thrown. And yeah, let's read it and we'll talk about it. Manga author Tetsuya Egawa throws shade at One Piece. Manga author Tatsuya Egawa, aka the creator of Golden Boy, Tokyo University Story, is known for his controversial opinions. So he's probably kind of like Hayao Miyazaki, Tomino from Gundam, where he says some shit that people ain't gonna like. And he wasn't afraid to share some of his stiff words regarding a popular manga starring a certain would-be king of the pirates on a recent episode of the Naitsu no Chaki Chaki Daihoso radio show. On the November 19, 2016 broadcast, hosted by comedy duo Nobuyuki Hanawa and Nobuyuki Tsuchiya, Hanawa, oh my god, I'm butchering these names, I'm sure, asked Egawa what he thought of One Piece, which is currently the #1 selling manga in Japan. Yeah, One Piece is a big deal. Are you trying to get me flamed again? Egawa replied. So he's probably had some controversial opinions in the past, and people just absolutely bodied this dude. So immediately he knew what he was getting himself into if he said anything that wasn't, oh my god, I love Luffy's rubbery body, I love One Piece in general. So dude knew he was stepping into the lion's den with this one. Egawa elaborated, if you look at it with the eyes of a pro, you can see why it sells. But I personally don't find it very entertaining. Now I'm going to just say right here that I don't think anything regarding that statement, as far as, from my standpoint, from my life, from, the way I look at things, is necessarily like shade. Like, you're allowed to have an opinion. You don't find something entertaining, fair enough. I personally don't see that as shade. I know some people might see it as, something else or whatever. And again, for a Japanese person, in their culture and their society, something like that is kind of unacceptable. So I get where it seems as though it's shade, but for me personally, I don't see anything wrong with him not finding something very entertaining. That's just personally me regarding that particular statement. I don't see a big deal about that. He added that he found reading the series difficult because the influence of the editors was so readily apparent that it made Egawa feel like he was trapped in a board meeting. Egawa went on to admit that he's only managed to make it through the 7 of the 83 volumes of One Piece. Hold the phone. Okay, I gotta say this. First of all, 7 of the 83 volumes. I don't know how many of the editors were involved in the first 7 volumes, because, like, don't get me wrong, you have some editor involvement throughout the entirety of it, but especially in the beginning, I think more so because there's not that big of a deal of it. It's only 7 volumes in. I don't think that the editor is going to have that big of a voice. I mean, he's going to have a big voice because he's trying to lead the series in the right direction, but to say that it's completely, like, ridiculous, and then at the same time, hold on, 7 volumes? I mean, yeah, you can have your opinion, you can have your first impression or whatever, but to make a blank statement that One Piece in general is just so apparent that the, editors are just all over the place on that manga, I think that's a bit extreme to make that type of statement when you read 7 volumes. I don't even know what the fuck 7 volumes goes into. You gotta think, what is that, like maybe 70 chapters, 60-something chapters? Like, does that go to Arlong Parker? I don't even know where the hell that goes, but I know that's definitely way before Alabasta and shit like that. And you read 7 volumes. Where's your opinion, pa? Like, yeah, you can have some sort of first impressions, but to make a blanket statement as far as the fact that One Piece, it just in general looks like, whoa, you can't see anything other than the editor's hands and shit like that. Maybe you should read a little bit more before making a statement like that. Again, it's on a comedy radio show and he knew what he was getting himself into, but just saying there, like, that are currently released in Japan. Adding that if you know the behind the scenes works that goes on between the editors and the artists who publish in Shueisha's weekly Shonen Jump magazine, as Egawa did with his series Magical Taluto, oh god, I'm butchering shit, it's impossible to enjoy the end results. So essentially what he's saying is, one, he doesn't find it very entertaining. He's read 7 volumes and he doesn't find it entertaining, which, fair enough. You read 7 volumes, that's a decent chunk of material, even though, again, there's 80-something volumes, right? Like, whoa, what the fuck? But he read 7 volumes, he didn't find it entertaining. But another one of his complaints is the fact that since he is a professional, which majority of us, if not all of us, aren't professionals, so we probably can't see all the subtleties and all the behind the scenes stuff that he sees, because again, he's been published multiple times, he's had multiple different series, he's been involved in a lot of projects and shit like that, so he's seen more of what goes on behind everything than us, so maybe he sees it from a different perspective than the average reader, so fair play to him on that aspect. But I would say the shade part isn't really I don't find it very entertaining, or even the fact that he only read 7 volumes, which, whatever. The fact that he's making a blanket statement, though, is where I find it being a little problematic, is like, you read 7 volumes and you're saying, oh, it just looks like the editor's hands are all over the place. I don't know, maybe you should have said, of those 7 volumes, I didn't find it entertaining, and I felt as though there was a lot of editor involvement in the 7 volumes, something like that. But the way he kind of came across, maybe it felt a little bit shade. I definitely felt as though going into this article, I thought it was going to be a lot more of a bigger slam than ultimately he did, because he was pretty okay with it. But I think the biggest aspect that, again, you got to look into it is, this is coming from a guy that's in Japan, in that culture, in that society, and to do something like this is a bit more disrespectful than what we would find it if somebody said that over here. Because over here it's kind of like, oh, you don't find my shit entertaining? Fuck you then, I don't give a fuck. Don't watch my shit, don't read my shit. But over there, it's kind of like, you don't do that. You don't disrespect, you don't say anything negative. Like, they try their best to avoid shit like that. So it's probably more of a bigger deal over there, and I'm sure, well, I don't know if Oda did see this, which again, he's a fellow manga creator, so who knows if he heard about this, something like that. I doubt Oda really would give a fuck, in a sense. It's like, I'm #1, boy. I passed fucking Dragon Ball years ago in manga sales. You think I give a flying fuck what you got to say, bro? Like, where's Golden Boy at? Which, don't get me wrong, Golden Boy, baby. I love Golden Boy. Amazing series. Love it. Fucking hilarious. But I just got to put this into perspective. Again, it's not a real big deal, except the fact that maybe the blanket statement was a bit too much. And at the same time, it's a big deal in regards to maybe different people, different societies, different perspectives in that sense. And also, you got to look at it as he's looking at it again from a different eye than us. We're just readers. We just read it and we analyze stuff, and maybe we've even read, hundreds of different manga and stuff like that. But that doesn't give us the eye and the insight that a professional would have, that's actually been serialized, that had to sit in those board meetings with editors telling him, well, you got to foreshadow this, you got to put this there, you got to make the backgrounds kind of like this, you got to make the characters go this way. So he's seeing it from a different perspective than any of us could probably see it, because again, unless I have some professionals subscribe to me or watching me, I don't think really that you could get the same idea as somebody that's been in Jump or been in a manga magazine in Japan and went through stuff. So I give it in that regard, but overall I still don't think it's that big of a deal. Let me know what you guys think. First of all, please no comments like, shut the fuck up, Golden Boy didn't make shit, that's why you're salty, go to for the motherfucking win. Because he really didn't go that hard on One Piece. He could have said a lot more like, yo, that shit is trash, fuck that shit, Oda can't come up with an original idea to save his life, his editor doesn't save him. Like, he could have gone some reckless savage shit, but he didn't. Also, do you think it's really a big deal? Do you think maybe that the article isn't that, controversial as it leads you to believe, as far as shade? Because he just said he doesn't find it very entertaining, and he sees a lot of the editor input when he's reading it and stuff like that. And do you think maybe he should have said no comment because he's only read 7 volumes? Maybe he should have read more, or he should have just said, I've only read small chunk of it, I feel as though my opinion isn't that valid because there's so much content out there. And your overall thoughts of this? Just thought it was some funny gossip for you guys to chew on. And any Golden Boy fans out there, I just gotta say, Golden Boy, represent, baby, and One Piece for the win as always. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.